Hello everybody, and welcome to another one of my StarCraft 2 commentaries. This is my first real challenge. I'm still in the Beginner's Practice League, and most of the time so far, I've pretty much been steamrolling over people. I'm still crap, it's just other people seem to be playing worse. At least that's what people in the comments section of my videos seem to think. Which is fair enough, I'm in the Beginner's Practice League after all. And this game, I believe this was my 6th game. It was a Terran versus Terran. I'm red in the top right, my opponent's blue in the bottom left. And this game's very special because it was the first time where I actually came up against an opponent who was a real challenge. So, yeah, let's see what happens. Okay, my opponent's name is Bop. He's making SCVs. Oh, by the way, I'm still working on figuring out how to block off my ramp properly. He's building a supply depot in pretty much the same spot I am. I'm moving a second SCV down to build the racks here. And I'm at this point where I get supply blocked again. I always get supply blocked early on. And after a couple moments I queue another SCV up. He's doing the same thing, building a rack supply depot. Now thus far, I basically had sort of a little strategy with my, the way I want to learn how to play these different races, and I want to win a few games in a row with a few different strategies in a row, and then I move on to another race. And I did that with Protoss already. And when I was playing this game, I had done a few Terran rounds, and I had won with Reaper harasses, early Reaper rushes. And at this point I wanted to try another strategy, going for dual refinery. And my strategy this round was originally going to be working on a nuke rush. Didn't go quite as... it didn't go according to plan, basically. And let's see what my opponent does and what happens. He's got the racks up, he's got 2 supply depots up. I have a racks and 2 supply depots up. I have a tech lab up. And he's doing something. We both went dual refinery. I've got 6 probes on gas. He has a rally point and command center to refineries. In most of the replays that I've watched, I've seen people rally pointing their command center to the refinery or assimilator or extractor or whatever. That's not what I do. What I do is I pull a couple SCVs off the mineral line, task them under the gas, and just keep the command center's rally point onto the minerals. But that's just because that's what I've seen other people do thus far, who are supposedly all pro and all that. So that's just sort of a tactic I adopted. Trying to learn at least. He's making a factory. Still no tech lab or reactor on his racks. I'm building a Ghost Academy and a factory. At this point I was still relatively new with Terran, and I wasn't sure which buildings were required for which other buildings. So I found out that, oh, you need a factory to build a nuke. So I started building a factory. I have my Ghost Academy up. My SCVs are doing stuff. I called down a mule already. I'm building more SCVs. Yada yada yada. Stuff is building. And he's building a starport, a factory with a tech lab, a supply depot, and a command center. So he's probably a bit more experienced with playing Terran than I am. That said, he's not going for his orbital command upgrade. I don't know, I think it's a good idea to get orbital command upgrade as soon as possible, because I think the mules overcompensate for the 2 SCVs that you could build in the time that it would take to research that upgrade. I don't know. Maybe other people agree with that tactic, maybe other people don't. Who knows? I'm building more supply depots. I have my factory up. I'm arming my silo with a nuke and researching cloak for my ghost. I have a ghost out already. Cloak first, of course. And the nuke will come after. I'm building a starport. And my intention is to, of course, use a medevac dropship and drop a nuke into his mineral line. His command center is almost done. He has a reactor and a tech lab. He's got a medevac coming out. And he's got 2 Hellions. 2 more on the way. And whatever that factory is going to be doing. Oh, now, here's where he's getting his orbital command. And my medevac's out. My nuke is building. I built a Marauder for my racks, and I'm building a couple Reapers. This was a peculiar moment in the game where I sort of forgot what I was doing, and I started building Reapers, and was like, well, maybe I want Reapers, maybe I don't, I'm not sure. Because I was debating what I wanted to put into the shuttle along with the Ghost. And as it turns out, you know, he's expanded already. He's got 800 minerals in the bank almost. 3 idle SCVs over here. And his dropship's on the way to my base to come harass my mineral line. I'm building a second racks here. I notice it, and well, he completely raped my mineral line. Completely destroyed my mineral line. Watch all those SCVs die. It's horrible and painful. And then he pulls out and leaves. I don't know why he does that. He could probably have killed that Marauder easily with the amount of stuff he had. And I got a bunch of Reapers out. I know they were garbage against Hellions, and I'm building a command center now. Building more SCVs to replace the ones I lost. And my biggest concern at this point was, oh crap, he scouted my Ghost Academy and saw my Ghost. But, I don't know. He's got a bunch of SCVs queued up. He stopped producing stuff from this one, though. Let's see how many SCVs he's got. Not enough. And he stopped calling down mules. I think this is a bit of an error on his part, because he sort of stopped building with his economy when he started microing his units around to kill my mineral line. My Marauder's sitting there, you know, being a good watchdog. Not like he'd be able to kill anything. And at this point, you know, I'm still building a command center, and I started expecting an attack, so I started building Vikings and put a reactor on my starport. Meanwhile, I got 3 Reapers here. At this point, I know that 3 Reapers can essentially one-shot an SCV, so I start trying to counter-harass an economy. And my idea is that these guys will be decoys while my Ghost comes in from the medevac. And they provide a pretty decent enough decoy, except I completely screw up. Yeah, I notice his fusion core, but I make one really big mistake here. I forgot to cloak my Ghost over here when the shuttle wasn't in his base yet. And then I moved the medevac that way instead of up towards where my Reapers were. Which is a huge mistake on my part, and he notices this at the very last second, and the nuke does pretty much nothing. Meanwhile, he's built 2 more starports, he's put a tech lab on one, and he started to build Banshees, and a Raven. He's also got his first Viking out. He's got a Banshee over here. This is what killed my Reapers. He got 3 kills on this one. He's building more SCVs. Repairing his command center. However, he makes another mistake. He doesn't have any detection. And he has a full orbital command supply worth of energy, and he doesn't scout this. So my Ghost completely goes to town killing SCVs until he runs out of energy and dies. So this is good for me. Meanwhile, I'm going, ah crap, ah crap. And he comes back. I kill the dropship. My Marauder kills my Marauder kills all 4 of those, 15 kills on the Ghost, anyway. My Marauder fends off the attack, and I start building more SCVs in a moment and call down another mule in a moment. And I'm going, ah crap, what do? I need to protect myself against more drops. I continue to spam Vikings as much as I can after I get my income back online. Meanwhile, my Ghost is here, killing stuff, going to town. And his Raven eventually scouts it, and my Ghost dies after 18 SCV kills. But I put a pretty big dent into his economy. This area, that area is entirely, you know, vacant. On the other hand, he has 3 starports, all with tech labs, and he's building reactors, and in one of these, you know, areas at some point, he researches Cloak for his Banshees. Meanwhile, I have a few more Reapers coming around to try and harass again. I'm trying to expand with my command center. I got a few Vikings out. I'm building more Vikings because I have a feeling that I'm going to need them if he does another drop attack on me. And I started harassing his economy again. And I think this is another mistake that he makes. Let's see. There. Now he deals with the Reaper force by move a Reaper in to try and put a scout and see if there's anything going on here. I think he should have left a Banshee or 2 over here the entire time, just to prevent any more Reaper attacks. I think that's what he's sort of trying to do with his Viking. Meanwhile, his Banshees now have Cloak, and they're headed off towards my base. I sent a Reaper over here because I wanted to expand to the high-yield mineral, rich mineral field. And my Reaper scouts this. And he cloaks right on top of my Reaper, and I notice this. My other command center's building, and I immediately pull my Vikings back. But I don't have any detection. These guys were all going to go and attack my opponent's base. And yeah, I canceled that command center so I didn't lose the minerals. And I'm going, oh crap, I have no detection. What do I do now? The Brave Marauder dies, I start building a missile turret, it dies instantly. Now I'm thinking, ah crap, what do I do, what do I do, what do I do? So I scan. The Vikings get a couple kills. He moves out of the way. Then he comes back. What do I do, what do I do, what do I do? I scan again. He moves his last Banshee out of the way just in time, and I scan the 3rd time. And after they're dead, I immediately send my guys off to my opponent's base, because he has killed my economy twice. This is almost dead, so I'm about to land here and claim that. And I need to start getting my economy back up. I lost my economy twice during this round. I have a supply depot here. My guys are on their way to his base. He's got an economy, 5 SCVs queued up in his expansion. Some stuff over here. And watch the fireworks. This is where I find out that auto turrets can attack air. I land some Vikings, I kill them, and now I go, what do I do? Do I attack the starports or the tech labs? And what I decided to do was kill the tech labs. That would prevent him from making Banshees, and then I was going to kill the starports and attack his mineral line again. As it turns out, he GG's, or at least says he's going to GG. And I'm not taking his word for it, really, so I go over here and hit up his SCV line. And yeah, right after this, I started practicing with Zerg. Zerg seems to be pretty difficult. It seems like they have to completely spam hatcheries all over the place so that they can just maintain production. The issue I have with Zerg over and over and over again is I seem to get lots and lots of minerals and no way to actually spend them. It seems to me that I need to build a lot of hatcheries. So I kill his command center, and I start heading off, you know, over this way to, you know, hit up his expansion, and he GG's and quits. And this was my first actual challenge game. This was the first time someone came relatively close to actually defeating me in the Beginner's Practice League. So I guess it was kind of a special match, and it was my sort of nuke rush strategy turning into a Viking attack strategy. Oh, only 1 kill for the 13 health Viking. Oh well. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my first real match, I guess you could call it. I'll see you guys later. Bye.